Keep it up. I'm a bit tired of hearing it. What?
Good morning. Today is January 17th. Happy Wednesday. Michelle Gums, Legislative Committee. We're going to try and call the meeting to order. Let's establish a quorum through roll call, please.
Bates.
Here.
Doherty.
Doherty here.
Molina.
Molina present.
Silva.
Silva is here.
Strathman.
Strathman here.
Gums.
Comes here.
Linder.
Linda remote.
You have quorum. We have a quorum in the room.
Do we? 1, 2.
Oh, thank you.
Is 3 a quorum?
Burn as
He's,
Mr. Tepe as
Madam Chair, you have a quorum in the room if you count me, which means I also must be called upon to vote on anything that happens.
That is correct.
Happy.
all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Tepe. Good morning. And I would ask for approval for our remote attendance request without objection.
make
No
it so.
objection.
No objection.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment? I don't see any online. I don't think we have a sheet. Anybody signed up for that? FYI, we're gonna make this super fast because I'm going to the dentist at noon.
We're going by noon.
I have a exposed nerve. So, new business. Oh, approval of the minutes, sorry. Motion for approval.
Bates
of-
moves. I mean, Tom.
Second? Can I get a second?
Jasmine seconds. I'm
Oh,
helping.
Strathman seconds, all right.
I sure did.
Favor,
I'm helping.
all in favor?
Aye.
Crickets. I got crickets today. Thank you very much. All right. No public comment, new business. Legislative updates. So, let's go back to A. Do we have any, committee member reports? Anybody got anything on their mind legislatively, please? Nothing. Crickets.
Linda here.
Linda, go ahead.
Yeah, I would urge the committee members as you go out to your other committee meetings to be soliciting ideas and information about what's going on. We still have departments that are kind of playing Lone Ranger on legislation, and that's okay. But we need to know about it. We don't need to control it or anything, but we need to know about it. So if you would ask your committees and then bring that back to us, it would be helpful.
Thank you, Mr. Linder. Can you guys hear me okay? I feel like I'm quiet. All right, let's talk about grants really quick. We're getting updates on a regular basis from our lobbyist team. We've got 4 or 5 lobbyist members that are coordinating with our department heads, directors, and electeds. As we get those notifications, we then send them to those department heads, directors, and electeds, so they have that information. Usually they're on top of their grants and different legislation, but oftentimes they're very grateful to get that information from our lobbyists. Our lobbyists are getting us very detailed updates, what's happening federally and what's happening in Illinois. Just go over those briefly, like there's the EPA grants. They got 32 million, 5 grants to about $5 to $8 million. That was just recently announced over the weekend. It was a total of 623 million grant program. Illinois is getting 14.9 million. That goes to the Finance Authority and will go to different locations. There's also a final rule that came out federally addressing the worker classification as it pertains to independent contractors and employees. I know that has been an issue for a lot of folks. We do have some deadlines, budget deadline, January 19th and February 2nd. Now we're talking federally here. So Senator Schumer and Johnson are prepared to do their stopgap. Just to note that last week, the House was kind of in gridlock because the group, I think there's 8 individuals, conservative individuals that are not happy with Mr. Johnson working with Mr. Schumer. So that will continue to be a problem. So it will have to be bipartisan stopgap. And I'm sure we can get that done like last time, but that will take effect for March 2nd and 9th respectively. So it will only be for about a month, which, you know, sucks. What else do we got?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, Mr. Doherty, go ahead.
Am I mistaken in thinking we need more money to pay off the Longmeadow bonds?
I think we've gotten enough money. We've gotten 2 tranches of 17 million each. Oh, we have KDOT here.
Yeah, KDOT happens to be here for that question.
Yeah, we're currently, this is Tom Rickard from Division of Transportation. Madam Chair is also here and could help inform further too. We are currently in the process, Madam Chair, recently in the last couple of weeks signed off on the funding agreement for the first 17.5 million. That has been a long time coming. It was budgeted by the state of Illinois, and that agreement now moves us to the final stages of hopefully receiving the first 17.5 million within the next couple months. There is an additional 12.5 million that was also budgeted by the state of Illinois the year after the 17.5. At this point in time, the state wants to finalize the 17.5 million, and then we'll start working on that last 12.5 million. And those will be the funds that are needed. There's been coordination with McHenry County as well as Cook County, who have offered, as well as McHenry County actually passed a appropriation resolution recently for $1 million. And Cook County's in the process of also assisting in getting rid of the tolls on Longmeadow Parkway. So everything is in process, and we anticipate that, again, the 17.5 million in the next couple months will be in hand, and we'll get the other funding too, hopefully in fiscal year 2024. So fingers crossed. So everything's moving forward appropriately.
Okay, so it's all the money we need for it has already been allocated, right?
All the money that we need has been either allocated or appropriated in order to pay off the bonds in 2028 and get rid of the toll immediately. Our hope is in April that we do some type of announcement that the toll efforts, because right now they're on hold, that sometime in April that the toll efforts will be shut down. And so that's only months away.
Okay, like I said, I didn't know. I just wondering if we needed a lobby report update from that, but if it's already handled, then I guess we don't need the lobbyists to work on it.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty.
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Mr. Tepe, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. For some other things that I'm involved in, I was looking over the roles of the different committees and the way things are done. And I think it would be important to elevate this committee's reporting. And what I'd like to suggest that it consider is that, you know, this has been somewhat of a unique committee based upon its makeup and focus. And what I'd like to suggest is that the committee do both a written and an oral report every month to the executive committee. The written report to get it on the record, and the oral report to make sure that all of the board members on the executive committee are aware of what this committee's doing. I think that will help to really not only communicate what the committee's doing, but also to help get more people involved.
I guess I'd have to ask the question, do other committees then report to the executive committee on their reports and statuses?
Should Energy and Environmental be reporting on our activities as well?
Well, this committee doesn't really have a staff in order to get things done, things of that nature. So I think the more involvement, the more, not involvement, but the more reporting that can be done on a regular basis that also is documented, I think that would just help to elevate the activities of the committee and, you know, get more people involved.
Oh, don't we always ask for committee reports at executive?
So, Gums here, I would, ask everybody to weigh on this if they want to. I can assure you I will give a more detailed oral report, if not Mr. Linder, but I don't know that we should report to the executive committee. I don't think I agree with that. Anybody else have a thought?
Well,
Roth?
Roth here. Question. Are you talking about reporting regarding grants or legislation or all the above?
I think the committee should report on what it feels is relevant.
Okay.
But again, I'd like to see, you know, a bit more recognition of this committee and more and more people coming here and, you know, and throwing out ideas.
I just wanted a
as well as being
clarification.
involved.
Thank you. And then wasn't Heidi helping us out in doing working on what legislation we're doing? Like have a repository of what we're working on and stuff? Couldn't we expand that also to include grants?
Yeah, that's a conversation that we have to have a bigger conversation on as far as staff goes. That was a recommendation. We
Right.
haven't had that conversation.
Right.
Committee members have not had the opportunity to speak about that.
Because I think
particular
it is important we document that, you were talking about some of these grants, but I haven't seen anything on that. And I
Right.
think it's important from a
thing. I will
communication
share those
point of
with
view.
you,
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Rath.
Sorry, Heidi.
I think that this committee has, it is in the process of showing everybody how important it is. And I think, making our presence known in a wider, venue, for whatever word, I think it gives us some gravitas. And I don't think it would hurt to, you know, it doesn't have to be really extensive, but, you know, just to make our presence known, I think might be a good thing. If you remember when we started, when you and me started, we were told this is an easy place to get started, that they don't ever do anything. And
Not true.
not true. But if that was the reputation of the committee, then I think we should correct it. I think it might be a good idea. I mean, you know, I don't think it has to be a half-hour report or, you know, and just
Ms. Bates.
just, I believe it's an executive that they always ask for committee updates, and it would be probably very beneficial for us to give any updates that we have. I'm not sure we have updates every month. that
So
we would
just
wanna
to, yeah,
report.
so just to be clear, what is being asked is that we do an extensive written and oral report to the executive committee. That's what you're asking. Yes.
I'm suggesting,
No,
okay?
right. No, yeah, no, I get it.
Okay.
It makes sense to me.
Okay,
I just want to clarify that
and
my
I had,
position would be,
I had no plans or ideas except let's look at ways of elevating the recommend because
Yeah.
I think that will just help everybody.
I agree.
Mhm.
We'll get it done. Mike and I will make it happen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Communication, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate all the comments. Every once in a while, I go back to 2-48 of our county code and review what the committees are supposed to be doing to make sure that I know what the committees are supposed to be doing by our code. And it's wonderful to find out that on the executive committee, the legislative committee, which I agree with all the comments to elevate it, is required by county code to present to the executive committee on a monthly basis, if you so choose, because obviously you and Mike are co-chairs, just an update about what's going on. Now, this may have been written before the legislative committee was actually formed, but to have all of us who sit on the executive committee, all 13 members of the board, updated about what's happening, whether it's in writing, because minutes will be taken, whatever you feel is most appropriate, I think would be wonderful.
Very good. I agree. I think every committee should be doing that at the executive. At the
I think
executive.
it
board,
should
but-
be
yeah.
hype it up a little bit.
Yes,
But you're the.
specifically,
this
yes.
Specific committee is actually
Yes.
written in there.
I think, yeah, that noted. All right, anybody else have any comments, questions about that?
Madam Chair, I have something
Bates.
else to discuss,
Oh, hold on one second.
Okay.
As it pertains to,
not to what
so
Mr.
I'm totally
Duffy
different.
said.
Okay. I'm not done with the legislative update thing yet,
Okay.
so. Where was I? As far as, this current administration just announced another proposal for lead pipes. So it just jogged my memory and I haven't really dug into it yet, but Mr. Isaacson's in the audience here. So over the last week or so, they proposed some more money and it will go to through the US EPA into the Safe Water Act. And that directly addresses that within 10 years, they want all those lead pipes to be replaced. And then there's a whole thing that's affected as well. So that was just recently introduced as well. So, and then I did want, since I have Mr. Rickert here, Ms. Bates, if you don't mind, Mr. Rickert, I did want to touch on one thing. The charge point identified that we have not enough charging stations here. I want to connect you with the lobbyist on that topic. And then,
Can I have a comment on that topic?
yes, Mr. Doherty.
Okay, so we just got an email from Montgomery touting the fact that they put 2 charging stations in at their city hall. So you know, there's been a lot of articles about people complaining about charging their electric vehicles. You know, Vern and I have them, and the chargers they put in Montgomery are slower than the charger I have in my house. Okay, it's 50. It will add to the average car 10 to, depending on the size of the battery, 10 to 20 miles an hour. So there is no advantage to these charging stations. I'm talking about you plug in, you have to sit there for an hour and you get 10 more miles, 15 more miles. These charging stations are giving EVs a bad name. To point it out, the 2 chargers in Montgomery are 6.5 kilowatts. The average Tesla supercharger, and they report both of these as high-speed chargers. The Tesla chargers charge at between 150 and 250 kilowatts. And a Tesla will charge at the lower end of the battery because it's faster when it's less full. I can explain to you the physics of that, but the point is they start out over 1,000 miles an hour of charging speed when you're plugged into a Tesla supercharger. 10, 12, 15 miles is worthless. And putting these in is giving the EV charging business a bad name. So I want us to be just throwing in chargers for the say, hey, we put in charge. No, okay, let's do this. If we absolutely have to, let's do it right. Thank you.
Noted. Mr. Rickert was listening and that'll be part of that conversation.
I was just going to say too that I'll coordinate with Jody because Jody and her staff are the primary staff for the
Sarah
alternative.
Hinshaw, our sustainability manager.
Well, if
under
you need
Energy Environment.
if you need any verification, please talk to Vern and I, because some of the data out there, like I said, 6.5 kilowatts is recorded as a high-speed charger, and it's nothing but.
Okay.
Is that a level 1 or a level 2
Miss-
charger? Yeah,
Ms.
level
Bates,
one.
go ahead.
Mr. Doherty, are you talking about a level 1 or a level 2 charger?
They're listed as level 1, but when you look at online, they're listed as a high-speed charger.
Level 1 is what you plug into your house without even a hard wire. That's not even, okay. I don't believe they're putting those into Montgomery.
I just looked it up. Madam Chair, please, I don't need misinformation going from my mouth to this committee. We just got an email. I just looked it up. Vern and I drive Teslas, which are fully electric. So we know all about charging. And when I said it was 6.5 and it was worthless, Vern's over there nodding his head. So I don't appreciate anyone correcting me when they don't have a clue as to what they're talking about.
I drive an electric car,
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Doherty.
All right, can we have order, please? Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Mr.
Yes,
Doherty.
ma'am.
Ms. Bates.
I have 2 other items to
Mr.
bring up.
Roth has a point first on this topic.
Committee should go first.
Is it about this topic? Because we're
No.
going to move
Yeah,
on
it's-
from this
It's a
It
topic.
different
is about this topic.
This topic.
There was an article in Sunday's Tribune on chargers in the auto section. And it was a good article, and I can get it for people if they want. There's 3 types of chargers. They said the other issue is certain electric cars aren't capable of doing fast charging as efficient as other ones. And so people are buying these and then they're finding, oh, it takes forever because of the car they bet. Now, there's no current standard that publishes that, but that should be something that we should do some research on and find, because we're shooting ourselves in the foot if you're buying a car that you can't get charged. And it's in the news the last couple of days, because with the cold weather, we're losing 40% on your battery charge, or the efficiency of the battery. And people are starting to complain, and we need to be smarter, not, just a reaction. Tesla is winning the market from what I'm reading in the market share on cars, because they're designing them, to go farther, charge faster, et cetera. Unfortunately, they're not inexpensive vehicles, but that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roth. And to that point, on the back end, we'll circle around all of those issues that are currently part of the ongoing evolution of electric vehicles and chargers.
Mhm.
So now to the next conversation, Ms. Bates.
Okay. I have 2 items. First, ISACO, Illinois, what is ISACO? Illinois Society. Association of Counties. I have asked them to create a committee for environmental issues, and they have created that committee. And so we've got about 6 or 7 members, and so we'll be
You're one of
meeting soon. What? And I
You're
am
one
one
of
of them. Yes, I am. And the other thing I want to bring up is the Orchard Road wall, sound barrier wall. I submitted my one pager to the committee, and Mr. Reichert is here. And I think I made a mistake. I thought it was Karina Villa's district, but it's really Linda Holmes' district, correct? And so that is one of my priorities for our lobbyists. I don't know if and Mr. Rickard knows I'm not an imposter, because I bother him about this every time I see him. So, so I just want to ask our committee and our lobbyists to help me and Mr. Rickard move this forward.
I agree. I support it. And
Okay.
if there's anybody that objects to it on this committee, speak now. And Mr. Roth has
I had talked to Mr. Rickard because there was a neighborhood of mine has an issue with sound, and he shared with me, that's a special, and he's the expert talk, is a special agreement that we're doing that wall, but elsewhere in the county, we do not install wall. I mean, if you can speak to that, thank you. I don't want us to go on record, we're supporting walls, but it's more of an exception than the policy.
Yeah, again, Tom Rickard, KDOT. This is a situation where noise abatement is just extremely expensive. In some cases, it can actually cost more than a roadway. And in the Aurora situation, Orchard Road was actually created jointly with the city of Aurora. We share in the costs with the city of Aurora. And so it's a situation where we work on all the different infrastructure on Orchard Road together and share the costs. And so this makes sense. We do have a wooden fence out there currently that is jointly the county as well as the cities, and we need to replace it. We've looked at some of the cost benefit aspects, and so this in this situation makes sense. When you start looking at, because we get requests, dozens, it seems like annually, on Randall as well as Kirk Road, Fabian, et cetera. Most of our county highways that have high volumes, we get requests, and this is not something that we're able to do on other county highways at this point in time, unless it's mandated by sound studies when we're utilizing federal funds. That's the only time that, and to date, we've never had that situation yet.
Very good. All right, second point.
That was it.
You only had, all right, very good.
Seiko, Orchard Road.
Perfect, lovely. Okay, I forgot to add a few things that the state's doing. I have two different sheets here, so. Just wanted to let you know, if you were not aware, our lobbyist team has been contacting us. Sometimes they call when we're in the middle of a meeting, and we've connected them in the middle of a meeting to somebody on the other side of the room. Heidi was involved in one of those lovely 24-hour incidents, and I just wanted to note that that is happening.
What's that about, Madam Chair?
An open opportunity, a 24-hour turnaround for some project that we didn't need, but they wanted us to know it was available, so that
Yep.
worked out. Also, our lobbyists have been in contact with, our emergency management team, public health. We've got them one-pagers from the sheriff's department. There's a whole bunch of things that they're working on right now. They are currently, the broadband issue is kind of huge. So Senator DeWitt, I apologize, Senator, if you're listening. Senator DeWitt's bill on our broadband and infrastructure, they redrafted it and are resubmitting it. So that deadline is Friday, specific to Kane County. They changed some of the language a little bit to allow us to lease. They felt that reintroducing this bill as opposed to pulling up the old one would have more of an effect. And I think we're going to have bipartisan support on the King County broadband issue, which is excellent, I think. And then we've got some important dates. So the deadline for the bills is the 19th. The House and the Senate bill introduction deadline is February 9th. The state of the state is on the 21st of February. A lot of deadlines, a lot of information to see. But I also wanted to point out some statistics that we maybe need to look at this committee. And that is, we've seen a double in hate crimes in Illinois, whether it's because of race, religion, sexual orientation, or political party. It has doubled. And I don't know if there's a conversation that we need to have at this committee or not, or just we'll talk about it offline with ideas. But I wanted to bring that to your attention because it, to me, was extremely alarming, and King County's better than that. So we'll have some thoughts about that. Those are all statistics that everybody has available to them. I hope you're all keeping track of things that are occurring with your mayors and their legislative priorities, and then bringing those back to us because we can always use that information. So I implore you to reach out to anybody who's listening, reach out to your legislators and your leaders and find out what their priorities are and see if we can assist them in any way. And then, where are we here?
Before we get away from the update,
Yeah.
we
Mr. Doherty is on the line.
Doherty, they were going to talk. We were going to talk with our lobbyists about setting an agenda, a lobby agenda for the county, and what we should prioritize. And all. Are you meeting with them about that, or what's
Yes. Yes, so Mr. Doherty, Mr. Leonard and I have, we do phone calls with our lobbyist team. It's a conference call, it's scheduled, and then, so some of our priorities, we're taking out bits and pieces from everybody because nobody's really bringing things directly to us. So, when we're creating this, it's kind of generic, to be honest with you, but, some of the things are, supporting legislation that gives more authority to the counties, the local control over solar. Some of those, I mean, they're very generic because I don't have very specific things. We do have specific projects that pertain to the laboratory for our coroner's department. They're working on that. We're also working on the senior tax freeze. That's coming in 50,000 different directions from a bunch of people, and I'm not exactly sure what the opposition to that is, but we're working with them to get that done. We also want to support any kind of legislation that causes King County to be inefficient. I know we think we're great, but we're not great when we're inefficient. So we can identify those, and we have identified those, I think, collectively. We also want to make sure that we get that the local government distributive fund back up to 10%. That's a continued legislative priority. We want to oppose any legislation that takes power away from the county. Those are very generic things, but yeah, we're putting that together, and it's happening. It's just complicated when, and to Mr. Teppe's point, if we can get this to executive and do a more comprehensive report, maybe that'll do the trick, Mr. Teppe. So thank you very much.
Maybe it'll help.
Supposed to be leaving here in a minute, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to.
Dorta goes first.
No, Mr. Doherty, you were not done. Go ahead.
Well, no, I guess that report's my brain likes a more focused attached. We need to do da 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 to get da 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 da, and it sounds like we're just trying a bunch of different stuff, and I just like, I don't know, maybe I'm asking for too much, but it seems like maybe like a plan of if we do these 4 things, then this progresses or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You're not asking for too much at all, and I'm glad you said it out loud. I will have an update for you offline after Friday because we're having a little get together on Friday. So I will update you on that.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Mr. Roth.
Adding to that about control of the county, I think we also need to include there where we're getting a lot of these unfunded mandates, which
That's on the list, actually.
to me, that's a
It
hidden
would
tax.
affect any unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to start
Any is
grading
a
our
strong word, but-
legislators when they're doing that to us, because
Yeah.
we're the ones that get yelled at then for spending money on it.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
The other is not just executive. I think it should be available for the whole county board on that report information.
Madam Chair, if I can indulge you with a question, will you be in the room for the purpose of quorum? Because I need to hand this over to Ms.
I
Strathman.
need to leave also.
Oh,
Are we done?
no, we're not done. We're not voting on anything, but we do have a presentation and I have to leave. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I'll just real quickly say that at each of your places, I put a white paper in regards to the plan of action for regional transit. And this is a summary. What I'll do is I'll send it out electronically to the committee members so that you can hit the links. And if you want to read any of the reports, this is something that Madam Chair has been working diligently with the other counties and as well as the city of Chicago on in order to address the funding shortfall of $730 million in 2026. This is something our legislators have to take action on. And ultimately, that funding issue is the primary issue. There's also going to be a lot of discussions relative to governance. Kane County, as well as the suburban counties, have various concerns relative to what type of governance is looked at in the future. I think there's difference of opinion when it comes to perhaps the city of Chicago and Cook County compared to the suburban counties. And so governance is going to be our primary issue, but well, let me actually say funding is the primary issue, and that's what we need to focus on in the short term and get that addressed, because otherwise we're going to look at a 30 to 40% reduction in transit service, and that reduction is going to impact Kane County. So white paper in front of you, I'll send it out electronically. We're going to have to spend some time talking with our legislators over the upcoming months. Madam Chair did meet with some of the other counties with the handoff to our legislators in Springfield very recently, I think early December, if I recall right. And so that has occurred. Know that in regards to the Metropolitan Planning Organization, as well as different CMAP activities, as well as ISACO and different activities. There are discussions ongoing right now that Madam Chair and myself are involved in. That's real quick summary. Again, look at the white paper. I'll send it out electronically so you can hit the links. That's all I have.
Any questions or comments about that?
It is a very complex issue with multi-counties and different agendas being presented, but we want to make sure through advocacy that Kane County and related collar counties are not receiving the short end of funding, and making sure that we are not burdened, with all due respect to CTA, because I have used CTA, like CTA, take the buses, take the trains, but we don't end up with their pensions, the pension issue, which is a huge issue.
And
Yes.
there is the letter that Madam Chair sent out to CMAP as well as to our legislators is attached. This was done in conjunction with our CMAP board member as well as the service board chairs that represent Kane County. And so a lot of good information here. Again, this is going to be an important topic in the upcoming year. So
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well done.
Okay, thank you. This is committee member Cheryl Strathman sitting in for Chairman Gums, who had to leave. And I guess we're into the agenda item where the co-chair might have some comments. Mr. Linder, do you have any comments? You see he's on the phone. Okay. Okay, I don't believe we need an executive session. And any public comments? Okay. Ms. Gums almost made it to the end. So I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay. I'll second, I guess. Can I second? Okay. Okay, that's right. You can. Okay. Can we vote on this?
No, you can't. You don't have a quorum.
Okay.
Close the meeting, otherwise you got to stay forever.
Okay, we have to stay forever, so somebody bring lunch. So,
Oh, sorry, I was muted. You can always vote to adjourn.
well, okay, thank you. Thank you. That's a relief.
Otherwise, you would be there for the duration.
Yeah.